Wonderful. Okay, we are live. You know what? I'm going to give, because this is completely unannounced and spontaneous, we'll wait a moment or two, Jacob, because we haven't told anyone we're doing this. In fact, I only asked you about 5 minutes ago. So we will see if people spontaneously discover that we are on, and we'll give them a minute or so, have a little sip of water. So some people are watching. What I'm going to do is just make sure I'm completely set up here so I can see it. Yes, okay, all right, we'll get going. Lovely. Okay, so Jacob, before I speak to you, I'm going to say a quick message to anyone that may on the off chance be watching, okay? And you're going to introduce yourself any second as well. So I'm Raymond Simonson. I'm the CEO of JW3. I should stress to people I'm not at JW3 at the moment. These are just the banners to hide the piles of stuff in the tiny little spare room that is now operating as the HQ of the UK's largest Jewish community centre. And it's a real pleasure to be here today with my wonderful colleague, Jacob. So he's going to introduce himself. Jacob, just tell people, what's your role at JW3?
So I am the Social Action and Volunteering Programmer at JW3.
Fantastic. So Jacob joined us in order to help us really increase the amount and the quality and the reach of the social action project, social justice, social action, tikkun olam, whatever you like to call it, that we do at JW3, and to engage our volunteer community, to grow that community, to keep them really engaged with what we do, and to find ever more meaningful opportunities for people to volunteer with and through JW3. And about half an hour ago, I gave Jacob a call because I know he's had an incredibly full-on week this week, and I've been so blown away by what we at JW3 have been able to do, and I'm so proud of it. And I was about to type a little message on Facebook, as I tend to do, and I thought it'd be much nicer to have a little chat with Jacob. Maybe there's some people that will watch this to hear a little bit about what we've done. And this is really about how we are trying to continue to help support the local people around Camden of all different backgrounds, faith, beliefs, colours, races, religions, doesn't really matter to us. It's about the people that need it most. So the setup I'll give, and then I'll hand over to Jacob, is that the last few weeks, loads of you will have seen, we have turned ourselves into a virtual JCC, a virtual Jewish Community Centre. We've been doing online programming for hundreds of people every day. We've reached thousands of people with courses and classes and Hebrew languages and arts and culture and family activity. What a lot of people don't realise is that we have continued to work on our social action and volunteering agenda at a time where local communities need us the most. And there's many things Jacob's been doing. One of the things that I was trying to set up behind the scenes was a partnership with Camden Council, that's the borough we're in, to see how we can support community need that they know of. And these conversations, they take their time, don't they, Jacob? They're swamped over at Camden. And then out of the blue, we got a call on Tuesday from a wonderful guy, Philip Vaughan at Camden Council, saying, we've got something and we really need you. It's a bit late in the afternoon and we need you to go by tomorrow morning. Is there any chance you can go ahead? We had a 5-minute conversation and I knew straight away that Jacob could pick this up and run with it. And he did. So, Jacob, I'm going to hand over to you and just tell us a little bit about what's been going on the last few days.
Right. So, so from our conversation that after you called me on Tuesday evening that we were going to get this delivery, we sort of kicked into overdrive at JW3. So, on Wednesday lunchtime at 12 o'clock, we received our first shipment, which came from Camden Council via something called the Felix Trust, which is a wonderful organisation that rescues food that would go to the bin normally. And they turned up at our door with a literal ton. That's not just being a lot of food, a literal ton of food that was going to go to waste. And we didn't know what we were going to get until we opened up the van doors and saw it. And about half of it was meals that have come from some very, very nice restaurants, which we kindly donated, and had an expiration date of within 24 hours. So we needed to get to where it was very quickly. And the other half a ton was raw ingredients, so vegetables, mainly root and vegetables, some cheeses, pots of hummus. So still fresh, still needed to get to where it needed to go quickly, but not quite as urgent as that, the ready meals going. So we had to contact all of our local partners, see who had the ability to take it, who knew exactly where it was that it needed to go and could get it there within 24 hours. And yeah, luckily we could. We found some really good partners. So it went to our friends at Sacred Heart Church, which is very close nearby, who have open doors for anyone that's in need. They never turn anyone away there. So that was great. We managed to get it there by utilizing a fleet of volunteers that came with their own cars and gave up their afternoon to drive it for us. And also to FSB, which is an organization for people suffering from homelessness that are single. They're currently been put up in an old hotel to get them so that they can isolate as well, but they're not given any food or kind of provisions, or very limited provisions they're given. So, but they do have a microwave. So getting a microwave ready meal is perfect, and it meant people can have a really good dinner that they wouldn't otherwise get. And that all happened on Wednesday.
Great. Jacob, you mentioned before that there was some of the food came from some restaurants, and I just think it just I know there's one that I can remember because it's somewhere that you know, I've never eaten in. But you should mention, if you can remember one or two of them, just let's give them a shout out, because I think it was really great. You got to remember, these were people that, you know, one of the hostels that got this has been set up temporarily. It was a disused hotel. It's been kind of commandeered by the council and turned into we won't mention where it is or anything, but these are people that are rough sleepers in Camden. They're some of the most vulnerable people. They have HIV, TB, scabies. These are people that have got drug and alcohol addictions. It's really, really difficult stuff. We spoke with a psychiatric nurse on I think Wednesday morning, who's running one of the clinics there that knows JW3, knows us well, and she hooked us up, and they got delivery of about 50 meals ready to microwave and eat. That came from where?
So you're right, it is a restaurant. I've never eaten there either, but there was the two main ones. One was called Bill's Kitchen and the other was the Ivy, and there was a selection of meals, but the Ivy, their main one, a lot of it was really, really nice, like veggie bologneses, and there was a couple of venison with mashed potato and gravy. It was some decent stuff. So I'm really glad that we got to get it to people that I think are going to appreciate. Plus, they got a bonus dessert of Greg's Donuts as well, which, and I have eaten a few of them in my time.
We should stress to anyone watching that the bulk of the food that came, and we will share some photos and that we took at the time, but you know, the bulk of the food that came, innocent smoothies, there was a whole load of freshly made innocent smoothies that came. There were root vegetables and boxes of cereal, and you know, bread and cheese and all kinds of things, and a big shout out, a big thank you to Phil and Abby, who turned up with about 100 carrier bags for us to use to go alongside the JW3 bags, because everything was being organised, you know, really quickly. I gave you a call on Tuesday evening and said, what are you doing tomorrow, Jacob?
Yeah, and we got some really great volunteers as well, just from our local area. So I can't name them all now, but I'll give particular shout outs to Angelo, Bianca and Josh, who came in. And for all the root vegetables, then we got in another load of volunteers as well on Thursday morning, who packed it up into care packages. And that went down to a wonderful organization called Doorstep Homeless Families, who they've been supporting families that are in temporary accommodation in Swiss Cottage, many of whom kind of whole families in one room in a hostel, and they've been locked down like that. So you know, it's a immense struggle. So getting a care package to them, and that happened the following day on Thursday. I received so many thanks. It was, yeah, it meant a lot to people.
Amazing. And what's great is we've been working with Doorstep for about 5 or so years, nearly since we opened, doing projects with them, including sometimes in partnership with Mitzvah Day when we do our interfaith cooking projects. So they know us, we know them. And what's great is that we're so embedded in the local community that we can pick up the phone call to the local church, to the local vicar. I had a great conversation, a really supportive conversation from our local MP, Tulip Sadiq. So thank you, Tulip. You were really encouraging for us to go ahead and do this, made some good suggestions for connections. And look, what I really want to tell people before we go, because Jacob, you've had the most unbelievable week, been working morning, noon and night. So I really want to let you go and spend a nice Shabbat evening with your wife. So before we go, I think one of the messages I want to say to people, and then let's see, add something in, Jacob, is that this is not a one-off. This is something we've been talking about doing for a while, and it's just happened suddenly, very quickly. And that is about setting up basically a temporary food bank, like a lot of churches and centres around the country have had to do at the moment. There is a need. People often look at where we're situated and they think, there's a lot of fancy, millionaire kind of houses in Hampstead. Well, you can only walk about 2 minutes away from where JW3 is, and there are people living in food poverty. There are people that are relying on social benefits. There are people that are struggling even before this crisis, and now there are even more people that are out of work, or perhaps they've been furloughed and are only taking home £2,500 a month at the moment if they're not able to be topped up. So the need is great. And what we're going to do is we're going to be continuing this. And Jacob is working on the plans at the moment, and we'll send out more details. But any of you watching this, just know this, that we are going to be looking to the community to help us. We're going to be looking at you to help donate food. Maybe you're ordering a delivery online, you can order a few extra bits. Maybe you can just order, maybe you can afford to order an online delivery to come to us. Maybe you can bring a few tins round to wherever it is that we're going to ask you. We don't have those details yet, but we're going to let you know about. You might want to volunteer your time to help either pack or sort or take things to people. But this is going to be a communal effort that JW3 is going to organise, that Jacob is going to lead on, and it's going to involve many hands to help make this work. So Jacob, do you just want to add anything to that, just to clarify anything?
Yeah, so like you said, with the food bank, we are still working on the details, but not only is giving out care packages with ingredients and ready meals that we get, we've also got cooking happening at JW3, and that's been happening for the past couple of weeks in partnership with Feast, and all of that food so far has been going to local mutual aid groups. So that's actually getting a nice hot meal, cooked fresh and delivered by a fleet of volunteers. Right. It's all cooked by volunteers and it's delivered by volunteers. So if you want to get involved in either the cooking or cleaning, you don't have to do the cleaning, but unless you want to.
That would help as well, right? That would help.
That does help. That does help. It's got to be done. So the cooking, the cleaning, or the delivering, then yeah, you can drop me a line at jacob@jw3.gov.org.uk. Is my email address.
Let's give them that email address just one more time, Jacob. Go on.
Okay. It's jacob@jw3.org.uk.
Okay, and what we're going to do is hopefully as soon as we can next week, please bear with us, your patience, everyone, but we will send something out, we'll put it on our social media, we'll send it around our database. Please make sure you're on our mailing list. Just go to jw3.org.uk. You'll work out, it's really easy to work out how to sign up. So it's not just about bringing you great content that you can enjoy in your home, that you can be stimulated and engaged and entertained, but also it's about how you can make a difference at the moment. And if you're one of those people that has a little bit of time on your hands, or you have the financial ability to, buy a few extra packets of rice or pasta or something like that, whatever it is going to be that's needed, then be in touch with Jacob and we'll find a way to help you, to help us, to feed people in our local area that are in need. Watch this space for a lot more information. Until then, Jacob, I just wanted to say, on behalf of everyone at JW3, thank you for the work you're doing. Every single JW3 colleague at the moment, I want all of you at home to know this, are working really, really hard to deliver everything that you see under the most challenging circumstances, all like we are from little corners of our homes, many of us homeschooling our kids and doing everything else we can at the moment. So a big, big shout out to all of the JW3 staff and the JW3 volunteers for enabling us to focus on our mission and keep delivering. So Jacob, Shabbat Shalom to you,
Shabbat
and
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone watching. Thank you. Have a lovely
Shabbat Shalom.
weekend. Take care.